the new one when you started the discounted retail, you said that you were vertically integrated, so you had cost advantage, and that's why you could price your products very low as compared to your competitors. This is a business where I'm talking about the period when you just started this business model, and you're showing a piece of jewelry which is say less than 4 times of what your nearest competitor is selling. And the customer yet is to have, he doesn't believe in your brand value. There is no brand value as such. So, and there is a bias that people usually associate quality with high prices. So why would someone trust a piece of jewelry which is $30 somewhere and $5 at your side? When you don't have any brand value, you cannot go on explaining him that we have a vertically integrated business. That does not work. So at the initial point, how would you say that operating leverage that you have already incorporated, which you say it's going to be helpful in a scaling business, but in the initial years, how would you convince a customer to buy it?
Good question. You have to use all the levers to convince the customer. So one thing we did was to show our manufacturing facility footage, quite expensive initially. So we have our manufacturing. The people who were going on air, the posts that we saw, so we sent them to our factories initially and took the footage of them going around the factory, looking at the rough settings, looking at the designs, and looking at the video manufacturing. And also we sent many of them to the mines, and they went inside the mines as well, where the stones were found. So create authenticity, or create a collateral to show that you indeed are manufacturers. And then show the collateral of the competing customers, competing retailers. But that retailer is selling this for 30, they are selling a similar product like $10. Now, we are not taking returns. And the name liquidation channel does not evoke trust. So that was a kind of a block to cross over. The lower price point hit that. People thought, well, I'm getting for 1/3 the price of other places. I have seen. People browse all the time. And for $20, and even if it is not really what I expect, I only lose $20. But I'm saving $60. We think in terms, we always give a message in terms of how much you're saving. You're saving $60, not how much you spend. So that got over that initial resistance for us. We pull all the levers.
It reminds me of Warren Buffett. The first billion is always the toughest one. The first sale is always the toughest one. The same customer. But once you've sold, he sold. You gain that trust. As Sunil was saying that he doesn't make the sale once, he makes it twice. First time you persuaded to part with your money, it's a small sum. He's thinking there's not downside. He's thinking that okay, I have so much wealth, it's just $10 or $15, $20. But when she opens the package, she's dazzled. Then she wants more. She wants more, so much more that she'll come back 19 times or 18 times. That can't happen unless she's getting the delight the second time she opens the box.
So you talked about how you opened so many businesses, like even just before the recession you opened 4 startups and then you had to make the decision of closing it. So we all know we have this bias, so once we own something and plus put a lot of effort and money into opening that business, how did you come about making that decision of then shutting down those businesses?
Yeah, that's always very difficult. And I remember when I gave the notices in Austin that day, there were a lot of tears shed. It was difficult. But to preserve what other jobs or other businesses you have, you have to take that hard decision sometimes. But as I said earlier, it is not the end of the road. You can start again and again. But if you don't survive, you can't. So you have to take a call. Okay, but this is time. So when I said perseverance, you have to be smart to recognize this is the time to take a retreat. I'll come back again. But never lose that resolve that I will come back. Then,
so we look at UVCs and HSLs which sell third-party brands. I also remember there is a company like Guthrie and Rinker which sells Proline full. That's a home brand for them. And I believe they have around $2 billion sales. And they are majorly into TV sales only, like we are. So do we take any reference from them because we also are into a home brand product, like, and only one category of product, jewelry and accessories. So do we take any reference or is there something that we can learn from them to be able to reach that mark?
So the Gothiranker and QVC are very different businesses. QVC is TV company like us, but they are into branded products. For example, Macy's in US, you know, they only sell third-party brands. They don't have. But we are like more like Zara, only house brands and half vertical. So we found our margins are only possible if you sell our products. Otherwise, we can't get the 60+ margin that will make us profitable and free cash flow.
I believe even they sell their own brand itself, they just Proline.
So, Gothiranker is a little different. I'll come to Gothiranker. So, Gothiranker is information company. Very successful, very good company. What they do is they buy those airtime, they have dedicated channels as well, where they would sell only their product, but they would record a particular product, take large position in that, and sell hell. That particular product will be sold on maybe hundreds of channels. They buy the airtime and the same again and again and again, the same information keeps on running. That's a good business model, but there's a different business model. But what they do is they take the ownership of that particular brand for that duration. Like Proline, it's pretty much sold only by them. Proline has started selling some outside, but it was really promoted by them. And with the celebrity endorsement, and with the user endorsements, with the doctor endorsement, all kind of endorsements. So the good business model. Did I answer the question? Maybe?
And as you said that we probably may move into other products like home products and so right now we are seeing 65% gross margins. So do you expect to sustain such margins in other products as well?
Definitely. Because home product, we won't sell third-party brands. We may not manufacture it, but we won't sell third-party brands because brands become expensive because they spend money in advertising. Because there's a pull associated with the brand. We are not going for the pull. We have enough push. We don't need a pull. So we have to pay for the pull. So our model is that we'll push and keep our 60+ mark.
Sir, you said that there's an element of storytelling with the way we sell. So like in India, what happened? Like these TV channels came, but with time people lost interest. Like five years, like what I can remember 5 years ago, people used to buy something from these TV channels. Right now, nothing like that exists in Indian market. So is it possible that 5 years, 10 years down the line, a shift might happen in the US consumer's mindset also, and something might fail? Is it not a big risk involved in your business, a single channel?
So US, for the matter, all the Western world, also Japan, they're pretty advanced into long distance shopping. So in US started hundreds of years ago in catalogs. CS was one of the first catalogs that started more than 100 years ago. So customers are very customers with their mothers, grandmothers, they're all used to buying long distance, not touching the product, seeing the product. So TV is an extension of that. And TV itself, like QVC, has been successful more than 30 years now. Very profitable and very stable company. I don't see that customer behavior changing for no reason. I don't have the visibility.
Sir, follow-up question. So to scale the business going forward, like again 5-6 years down the line, so we will move to third-party products. How can we do that vertical integration in those not third-party products, like other products, say home, other consumer goods? How can you sustain that margin? Because jewelry is something you have been doing for like 20 years. You have the textile manufacturing facilities, competency to get that beautiful product. How can you do that in a new product that you will enter, and how can you sustain that high margin in that product also?
I'll give you an example of Zara. Zara manufactures some of the product. What they do is they assemble the product. They buy the cloth, the grey cloth, and give it for fabrication to all the subcontractors within Spain. And they also buy third party. Actually, they don't manufacture; they buy from third parties. What they do is because of scale, they get the advantage of buying the material at cheaper than subcontractor. So what we are doing, just to give a comparison, we buy a lot of watches. We sell a lot of inexpensive watches on LC. depreciation charge. So we found that the customer or the manufacturers were charging us a profit on the batteries and the movement inside the watch. So we bought the watches and movement and batteries, 100,000 of them. Cost is very less, lower than what he would buy, and then gave those movement and batteries to them. This is exactly what Zara does. So we would do the same thing as going forward. As we scale, we'll look at where we can save. Because that our mentality of going to the bottom line or bottom source would come into play.
Sir, the average selling price on the web as a percentage of the average selling price on TV that you showed is roughly showing a downward trend from what I could make out. So is it becoming more and more difficult for you to get out of those tails that you mentioned? I mean, you have to sell the product more and more cheaper and cheaper on the web just to get it out of your tail once you could not manage to sell it on TV. Is it showing that trend?
So the web model has three components actually. One is catalog. Whatever inventory we have in warehouse in the US or UK is published on the warehouse and customers buy from that. This is again pull. The second thing is TV broadcast is broadcasted through web. People who do not have our signal coming to them on TV, they buy from that web. The third thing is rising auction. That is the tail. So that is the price is determined by the consumer. So people bid against each other. Wherever the price goes, it goes. And we have seen the margin on that is fairly constant. About 25% kind of margin on the rising auction. And we can, and we can also manage a little bit by limiting the quantity that we publish. Less the quantity, more people compete against for same product. More quantities, we get lower margin. So we somehow balance a little bit, but let people compete.
I think what he is saying, my understanding is that in the rising auction market, the idea is कि जितने भी निकल जाता है निकल जाए, because मेरे को cash चाहिए. I don't want that sitting. It's a dead inventory. It's just lying over there. It's just dead cash. So he's thinking free cash flow. Number one. Number two. अगर निकल जाता है जिसको मिलता है, he sees it. He says, "Wow, this is nice. I want." Then he becomes a possible customer in the other channels as well.
Correct.
So I think that's one wonderful innovation. How did this idea came up of rising auction? Who did he copy it from? So this is a trend that you said.
Yeah, eBay was doing it all the time. So kind of hybrid.
Yeah, I was quite amazed to see that. It's a wonderful entertainment. I mean, I was so tempted to buy stuff, and unfortunately, I don't have a US address. Why would this not work in India? Why would you not do this in India?
So it has to be integrated.
Indians love a bargain.
Probably if I was just doing rising auction business, I would not sustain it, 25 margin. Right? I have to have 60 margin or 60 margin to sustain the business. It's difficult. We employed somebody from TV Shop 18 recently. And TV Shop 18 gross margin is just about 25%. That is not sustainable.
Okay. Other questions, please? Yeah.
So when you started consolidation, how did you decide that these are the countries I want to stay in and these are the countries I want to move to? And also, some of the countries where you failed, would you want to enter them again?
So first question, when we were looking at it in 2009, UK was profitable. Or UK was very close to profitable. US was not. So only retail business we would have kept us with. So US actually, the process of closing down gave us a new model. Okay. So second question, would we go back to Germany? That's the only, definitely. Down the road, it's a good market. That market is bigger than UK, but TV shop. But takes longer to sustain. Because in Germany, you have to take return. And there is no credit card risk. Only 10% people pay by credit. You just ship the product, you trust people. Just ship the product and you expect them to pay within 30 days. It's called invoice pay. So it takes long.
We can have two more questions, maybe three at the most because we are running out of time. Viraj?
The question I was asking back is we spend a lot of money on broadcast and carriage costs, close to 230 crores a year, with around 1200 crores of sales. Now, with the sales number moving up as fast as it showed in the past 4 odd years, do we expect the carriage cost as a percentage to come down? Or would we spend more money to get better slots in the channels that we are coming at the back end of, or slightly lower in terms of where we are shown in the number of channels? Would we spend more to come up the channel ranks in the team?
Yes to both. We would continue to expand the geography within US and Canada for the next 2-3 years, 4 years. Because there's room there. And yes, we'll also look to simulcast. Not really change position as much, but we're already doing simulcast on some satellite and cable companies. That means having 2 channels, one at lower position and one higher position. So we'll look to expand into simulcasting on other platforms as we get better. So the leverage that you would want to see would not be visible for next 2-3 years.
And how does that 40 center house cost change with time?
For next 2-3 years, it won't change. We'll expand. There will be some leverage, but we'll spend more money in the simulcast. So even if we are broadcasting on 2 stations on same platform, we count as 1. We don't double count. So the cost per house goes up. So the leverage goes away.
So you spend currently around 40 cents per house, right? So that goes to 45, 50?
I don't have the visibility yet, and I can't, even if I had, I can't share that number.
Sure.
But what I would say is, as a percentage of revenue, we'll see leverage down the year. Currently, we're at 17-18%. QVC pays about $3 per phone, but still 4%. So probably to get those better channel positions, we go higher. But our idea would to have long leverage on it. But don't have exact visibility.
I have a couple of questions. First is regarding the 2005-6 time, when you had done the two, three acquisitions at that time. They were the mortar and brick businesses. And within 2-3 years, you had to sell them at substantial write-off. What was really wrong to sell them at such kind of losses? Those were substantial losses.
At that time, there was no buy. In 2008, 2009, it was such an environment. If we had kept the business, we had running costs. And we were losing money every month. So we decided, we had to decide what business to invest in. The UK seemed most logical choice for us. We were losing least amount of money. And the cash reserves, given the cash reserves we had at that time, brick and mortar would be the longest time to profit.
What happened to the guy who bought it from you?
He's still running.
He's doing well?
Yeah. It's called Kiran Jewels, he bought it. And the name he still keeps saying, called Milano Diamond Gallery.
Okay.
He expanded it.
The second question is we are running a full channel to sell our products on the how about buying a prime time or something, or buying time slot from other channels and showcasing products or doing something?
What do you mean?
Like in India we see after like 10 p.m. or something, these channels sell their products.
So we do buy at time. Our night time distribution is much higher than our daytime distribution because it's inexpensive, and we focus on night owls, so-called. So we buy those times from the broadcasting company or the satellite companies themselves, not from the channel owners. The channel owners, they sell their time. They also buy the daytime only. They don't buy night. And we especially try to buy channels from the like women entertainment or the village who are target audience. We don't buy CNN so much. So that audience is not us.
One last question. Anyone?
So we are not selling to Amazon or to other services now? Why not?
Well, we do have feed into Amazon in US and also in UK. But there's more to test what product selling, what customers getting traction on that. Because to be able to sell on B2B, you have to have a little bit different customer service or infrastructure. That is not our model. Our model is to create brand for ourselves.
So I have a related question on Amazon. Sunil. if you go on Amazon.com and search for jewelry, fashion jewelry, you find a lot of variety over there. Why would that model, the marketplace model, not be a threat to you? Why are you worried about them? And if not, why not?
Not really, because down the road we have potential to create a marketplace because of the audience that we are building, especially for lifestyle and beauty products.
What is the price point at which Amazon sells its jewelry?
I do not know. They don't publish that number.
No, the retail prices at which
So they don't publish what their average price point is.
Okay.
So it is not visible to, because they sell high price point, $2,000 diamond studs too. They sell $10 too. And they have their own products and they sell a lot of marketplace products too. So it will be difficult to discern for us what their average price point is. But again, Amazon, if anybody else were to sell on Amazon, there will be again intermediary.
Correct.
Probably US based intermediary. And that cost will be additional.
Okay. Thank you. I think we are running out of time and they also have to have their lunch. The one thing which stayed with me in this talk that you gave, Sunil, kept on coming back to me over and over, I wrote it down, is that you're a very courageous man. First, it took a lot of courage for you to say things that you haven't said before. So I really salute you for that. Second, it takes a lot of courage to be in retail. And if you're in retail, you have to be courageous. And it's one of the, I think it's the second most value destroying industry in the world after the airline industry. So very high mortality there. And then it's not just about retail, you're in fashion retail. That's even more, fads and fashions, they come and go, and you see all of those shooting star phenomena that Warren Buffett talked about. And the third, you don't want to sell to Indians or to the Asians. You wanted to go to the most competitive market in the world and sell it to the Americans and the Europeans. That takes a lot of courage. Sixth attempt, it worked. So I congratulate you for that. Thank you for coming here. I think it was a great talk, and I enjoyed it very much, and I'm sure all the participants here enjoyed it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.